Good afternoon, I am Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Welcome to Kamna TV Maiden News. The headlines. President HH to set up a system to recover stolen national assets. Chief Mukuni's wife acquitted in the case of abducting the Hatambos. Join with the Maiden News in detail after this commercial.
Would you like to win some cool cash? Say no more. Stand a chance to win your share of 1 million kwacha. Simply make a transaction from your Zamtel mobile money account and you could be one of weekly winners of up to 10,000 kwacha. Be empowered with Zamtel mobile money. Dial *344# to activate your account. This promotion runs from 28th July to 31st October 2021. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
And now the media news in detail. Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has charged that his administration will introduce a specialized fast-track stolen assets recovery mechanism and courts for corruption and economic crimes. Speaking during the ceremonial opening of the first session of the 13th National Assembly, President Hichilema says his administration will wage a war on corruption and not spare any expense to ensure that perpetrators are made to account for their impropriety. The head of state says rebuilding the Zambian economy is top on his agenda as it will deliver jobs and better livelihood for the Zambian people.
The long-awaited 13th session of the National Assembly has finally come to pass, and Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema Friday morning proceeded over Parliament. The address by the head of state was under the theme, Creating a United, Prosperous and Equitable Zambia, Restoring Economic Growth and Safeguarding Livelihood. While corruption has hampered the development of the country, President Hichilema says his administration will introduce a specialized fast-track stolen court recovery mechanism and courts for corruption and economic crimes.
We will increase the benefits of being honest rather than being dishonest as observed in the past. And the cost of being corrupt will be made high. Madam Speaker, Further, we will introduce specialized fast-track stolen assets recovery mechanisms and courts for corruption and economic crimes. We will also enact legislation where it's weak on ethics and integrity for improved transparency and accountability.
Among other promises, the president has assured that a premium will be placed on empowering women and young people through empowerment and livelihood programs. To this, women empowerment will be an important strategy for overcoming poverty, marginalization, and other social ills.
Madam Speaker, a premium will also be placed on empowering our women and young people through empowerment and livelihood programs in this area. We will also devote our efforts in providing skills training for self-employment, as well as increasing access to credit, coupled with financial literacy.
Among other sectors, the president says he will transform the FISI program to ensure that the agriculture sector is sustainable.
Madam Speaker, to improve agricultural productivity, government will ensure access to affordable agricultural inputs, such as fertilizers, chemicals, pesticides, and others. This will be achieved through the redesigning of the Farmer Input Support Program to transform it into a more cost-effective and sustainable intervention. This will promote cost efficiency and enhance private sector participation.
The president has also underscored the importance of the tourism sector, which he says the country has not been fully utilizing its potential.
Our country is endowed with abundant natural beauty, coupled with a rich cultural heritage. We have unique and pristine tourism sites that must be harnessed to benefit all our people. To this effect, our government will prioritize tourism as one of the key sectors for restoring economic growth, creating jobs, and reducing poverty. The potential of the tourism sector has, however, not been fully exploited. We all know that.
President Hichilema says, among other things, his government will review the mining policies, ensure cost-reflective tariff and end load shedding, restructure and finance reforms in ZESCO to enhance effectiveness, engage private sector participation in the fuel business, reduce transaction cost of doing business, support small and medium enterprise, develop the railway sector, restore the rule of law, improve access to education, health, social protection, as well as water and sanitation. The head of state has also tasked youths in the country to be innovative and not wait on monthly paid jobs. Prudence Chota, reporting for Kane TV News.
The state has entered a nolle prosequi in a case where wife to Chief Mukuni and 4 others were accused of abduction with intent to confine. Queen Veronica Mukuni, Choma Mayor Jevons Moloka, and his Mazabuka counterpart Vincent Zilanda, former minister Axon Senjani, and businessman Fines Malambo have since been discharged. The Trauma Magistrate Court discharged the accused after the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, entered a nolle prosequi in the matter where the accused persons stood charged with abduction.
Dragged to court in May 2021 on allegation they had abducted the Hatembo siblings, Chief Mukuni's wife, Veronica, 3 UPND officials, and the Choma businessman have been set at liberty by the Choma Magistrate Court following the state's decision to discontinue the case through a nolle prosequi. Friday morning, when the matter came up for commencement of trial, the prosecution team informed the court that the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, instructed that the matter be discontinued through a nolle. Earlier this year, Queen Veronica Mukuni, Javin Sikoloka, Vincent Lilanda, Axon Sanjeni, and Fines Malambo were accused of kidnapping the Hatembo siblings, Feluna and Milton Hatembo. The Hatembo siblings were at the center of a land issue that involved President Hakainde Hichilema when he was then the opposition leader, which they had lost, and were allegedly being forced to appeal the matter by FDD leader Edith Nawakwi. And speaking shortly after being discharged, some of those that were accused in this matter claim that they were unfairly treated.
Well, we take note and accept what the DPP have directed, although this is a process that has been very much abused. It's a channel that has been abused. Individuals have been made to suffer at the hands of the state, only to enter prosecutors at the end of the day. So we take note, we accept it, we are relieved that we are finally free.
While others are reluctant that the matter has been discharged. Miriam Kaimba, Camnet News.
In other news, a presiding officer in the just-ended general election has told the local election tribunal court that he was given pre-marked ballot papers for mayoral candidates by opposition former Patriotic Front Deputy Mobilization Chairman Geoffrey Mwamba, which contained about 8,000 ballot papers which were marked in favor of one candidate. Testifying in a case where UPND losing candidates for Lusaka Mayor, Victor Nyasulu has petitioned Lusaka Mayor Chilanda Chitangala Fines Kasongo, 36, a teacher by professional, says Mr. Mwamba told him to refuse the said pre-marked ballot papers at Matera Community Hall where he was working from. In this matter, Mr. Nyasulu has cited Mr. Chitangala and the Electoral Commission of Zambia as respondents respectively.
On Friday, the local election tribunal court proceeded to hear the case in which United Party for National Development candidate Victor Nyasulu, who lost the elections in the Lusaka mayoral seat, has petitioned newly elected Lusaka City Mayor Chilando Chitangala. This morning, the tribunal heard from a witness that opposition former PF Deputy Mobilization Chairman Geoffrey Mwamba gave him 8,000 pre-marked ballot papers which were marked in favor of one candidate. Phineas Kazongo, who was a presiding officer in the just-ended general elections, was presented as a witness by the petitioner and in his testimony testified that the night before voting, he was approached by people, among those Mr. Mwamba, who is commonly known as GBM, and informed him that he had a package for him, pre-marked ballot papers for mayoral candidates, which he wanted him to fuse at the center he was operating from in Matero at the community hall. However, the court could not proceed to hear testimony from Mr. Kazongo following an objection raised by the respondent that the only way he could testify is by getting permission from the Electoral Commission of Zambia, because the time he was a presiding officer, he had made an oath not to disclose any information. In this matter, Mr. Nyasulu has cited Ms. Chitangala and the Electoral Commission of Zambia as the respondent, respectively. He wants the court to determine that Patriotic Front winning candidate Chilando Chitangala was not duly elected as Lusaka City Mayor because of the irregularities that took place at Mandevu Totaling Center.
We are happy that we've come to this day where the tribunal has started. We are very hopeful of justice, because that's what we are interested in, truth and justice. And so when you talk justice, it means the correct things will be done.
Meanwhile, in her defense, Ms. Chitangala has refuted the allegations laid by Mr. Nyasulu and has submitted before court that the petition should be dismissed because it lacks merit. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Kamni TV News.
Chikondi Foundation President Bishop John Mambo has welcomed the scrapping off of Ministry of National Guidance and Religious Affairs from the recently announced cabinet, stating that it did not play an active role in the country. Speaking to Camnet News, Bishop Mambo says the ministry during its tenure did not speak out on negative voices such as corruption and remained mute on various matters of national interest, and hence was a waste of public resources. He has called on the church to take up the role of offering spiritual guidance to the country, stating that they are more than equal to the task.
But it didn't help us. It's a corrupt ministry. We don't want it. Just like the press will be regulated, we'll also be regulated. We shouldn't waste money to create a ministry that will not work. When did she pronounce about corruption, even with people that we know? That was never said. That has never been said. We were rejoicing. We took people to go around using our money to campaign against Bill 10. Those were clergy. They are the first one to be seen in VIP 1 at Hero Stadium. We were building a house of worship. If you go there now, material has been stolen. So I think the church, let the church be the church, not be something else.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Kamnet TV Media News, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. President HH to set up a system to recover stolen national assets. Chief Mukuni's wife acquitted in the case of abducting the Hatembos. Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Remember to always wear your mask, avoid crowded places, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Stay safe and good afternoon.